Rural Americans deserve access to the best our nation has to offer, especially when it comes to health care. Across every state and every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families' health. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.
In the squadron, they called him Bullets, but we call him Greg Kelly. Greg Kelly is on the air on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Well, you almost never hear about this happening, and it's happened. A hero U.S. Coast Guard dive swimmer rescue officer was killed during an operation. Killed. These guys can face anything. I can't remember when this happened before. You know, those guys who jump in the water to rescue. A U.S. Coast Guard rescue swimmer, Tyler Jaggers, has sadly passed away after being severely injured in a high seas rescue off the coast of Washington State. Wow. Jaggers was injured during a medical evacuation of a cargo ship. Crew member who suffered a stroke. Jaggers was getting ready to propose to his girlfriend, according to those close to him. Yesterday, surrounded by his family. Yikes. He left this world. The incident happened at about, 140 miles off the Washington coast, according to local reports. While conducting a helicopter medical evacuation offshore, Washington State, Tyler was seriously injured while being deployed to a large vessel. After being transported to a hospital in Victoria, Canada, it was determined by doctors that Tyler would not survive his injuries. I mean, these guys are so good. So it had to be really, really tough situation. All right. Jesse Jackson is still dead. I mean, this is ludicrous. I'm looking how many presidents, every living president we have there is there at this thing. Now, I bit my tongue when he died, and I had a couple of days, right? But this man was a total racist and, quite frankly, hustler. I mean, he was shaking people down all over the place. When he was running for president, he was like a terrorist. He demanded that he get a plane and $1 million, and they gave it to him so he would go away. The Democrats gave him $1 million in a plane, just like the terrorists want sometimes, right, back in the old days. And he flew around the country. And I remember the first time he never talked about Walter Mondale. Granted, who wanted to talk about Walter Mondale? And then 4 years later, he runs for president again. He gets the same arrangement, and he never talks about Mike Dukakis, right? Mike Dukakis. It was all about him. Now, I'm kind of curious about Jesse Jackson Jr., I haven't seen him in all of this. I know he's running. He wants to be a congressman again. Jesse Jackson Jr., during the Obama administration, was sent to prison. All right? I mean, that guy was dirty. I mean, bribes, you name it. This guy was. So what else can you say about Jesse Jackson? Look, I remember well when he ran for president, and he talked about the Jewish people in the most horrific, horrible way. Very anti-Semitic. Look overall. Talk about being in the right place at the right time. Not a fan of Jesse. Sorry. And egomaniac. Anybody who spends that much money on clothes. He was the best dressed man. It doesn't come across on TV, but in person, he would step out of the house, $15,000. His clothes alone, $15,000. He was, hey, speaking of clothes, this Kristi Noem. Look, I don't want to kick her when she's down. I was kicking her when she was up. All the way back in December, I said, she put out that silly commercial walking around on the back of the horse, riding the horse. I said, this is inappropriate. People told me, oh, you just don't know horse country. People do that. Then I said, well, she shouldn't have shot the dog. Oh, you're just a city slicker. You don't know. People do that. No, they don't. No, they don't. And if they do it, it's illegal. Bring them back to the pound. You telling me they don't have dog pounds in South Dakota? A dog was 11 months old, 12 months old. It was a puppy practically. Let somebody else figure it out. You have that silly commercial that she did? Her boyfriend undoubtedly was on the scene. Corey Lewandowski. How stupid. How gross. How immature. Some of these people think, well, Donald Trump could never say anything about us. After all, what about him and his stuff? What about him and his stuff? He got elected. He got elected. You guys are there because he picked you. Taking that kind of liberty with each other. By the way, I don't believe a lot of the stuff they said about President Trump in that regard. And if it is true, he paid a big price. Can't believe they made him sit in that courtroom with that stupid woman. What was her name again? Stormy. Pathetic. And the same people who engineered that fake case and all of those fake cases, they need to be held accountable. None of them should be able to set foot in a government building. President Trump's executive order that said, as far as the law firm business with the federal government, unless you pay, that was totally legitimate. Every single witness that came forward in the impeachments, the fake impeachments, the prosecutors, all that stuff, engineered by some of the biggest law firms, colluding with Democrats, and you're not allowed to do that. That is a violation of, they all could be disbarred. I think you should try to disbar some of these people. The only person to get disbarred was Rudy Giuliani. Can you believe that? Rudy Giuliani. Rudy Giuliani should be the Chief Justice on the Supreme Court for what he did. Now, are we missing anything at this Jesse Jackson situation? You want to listen to it for a moment? Just a moment ago, it looked like it was a lot of fun. They were singing, dancing. I mean, really dancing. I mean, like fun dancing. You know, like nightclub dancing. I'm not talking gospel dancing, which is also can be fun, but this was like, whoa. Who's this person? Go ahead.
Those magnificent jurists, Reverend Jackson had a legal team. John Bustamante.
I want music when I'm doing a speech. A little bit of piano in the background to make things look a little bit lighter.
You see, all of these people and more. I think I saw Cleo Fields in the audience. Janice Mathis. I could go on.
Yeah, no kidding. It's the place to be. Bill Clinton showed up. Barack Obama showed up. Obama did not like Jesse Jackson, and Jesse Jackson did not like Obama. All right, Jesse Jackson had been doing that stuff for decades. Obama shows up. You got to remember, Obama wasn't really well liked or well respected in Chicago. Nobody remembers, but he ran for Congress in the year 2000 and got beat bad, humiliated. He ran against a Democrat. What was that guy's name again? Bobby Rush. And he lost by like 17 points. They didn't trust him. They didn't like him. They thought, who the hell is this guy? Like the rest of us. What? And actually, they thought, he's not black enough. That's what they said. That's what black people in Chicago wondered about. Is he even black? Let's see. He wrote about this. It's not that, it's not edgy what I'm saying. He wrote about this in one of the 17 books he wrote about himself, right? You can look it up. All of his books are about him navel gazing, right? Self-absorbed. Where do I fit in the world? I'm black, I'm white, I'm not black enough for the black people, I'm not white enough for the white, but what am I? Well, he figured it out. Just be this, be you. Be this guy totally obsessed with race, totally self-involved. And America rewarded him for that. And what has he given us since? Where the hell is he? Where the hell is he? Why doesn't he open up the Barack Obama Center for Nonviolence, Understanding, and Helping? I'd go work at that center. And I'm not talking like that presidential library. I'm talking about setting that up in the hood, right? You set one up in New York, maybe 3 in New York, right? In the Bronx, Brooklyn, South Queens, places like that. South side of Chicago, whatever. I don't know Chicago. I hear the South Side's a little edgy. East LA, maybe. The Barack Obama Center for Nonviolence, Understanding, and Helping. BINA. I'd go work for it, but he's not going to do that. He's just not that into people. He's just not that into us. Do we want to say anything else about the woman who lost her job? She really, when you lose John Kennedy, the good John Kennedy, the Kennedy from Louisiana, he is the conscience of America. I really like him. I mean, the conscience of the Senate, I should say. He's like a giant in my book. Let's see here. What happened? Oh, first, somebody else asked, hey, are you having sex with Corey or what? What's going on there? Cut 2, please.
So, Secretary Noem, at any time during your tenure as Director of Department of Homeland Security, have you had sexual relations with Corey Lewandowski?
Mr. Chairman, I am shocked that we're going down and peddling tabloid garbage in this committee today.
Reclaiming
and
my
ma'am,
time.
one thing that I would tell you is that he is a special government employee who works for the White House. There are thousands of them in the federal government.
So reclaiming my time.
Stop. They just talk. You know what she could have said, and I've seen this. You know who does this a lot? Bill Clinton. It depends on what the word is. Right? You ever hear about that? There's an old adage, if you tell the truth carefully enough, you never have to lie. So she asked, did you ever have sexual relations with Corey Lewandowski during your tenure as Director of Homeland Security? And whether she had sex with him or not, I think she could have technically, legally answered no. You know why? Because she's not the Director of not the Director, she's the Secretary. Right? There's a difference. I think she could have seized on that. She's not that bright either. I'm not recommending that, all right? That would have been deceptive, but technically probably not lying. Let me see here. Okay, here's John Kennedy, and he's upset about multiple subtopics. Cut 3, please. The Republican from Louisiana.
What got my attention was that you blamed those statements on Mr. Stephen Miller at the White House. Did you not?
No, sir, I did not. And in fact, where you're seeing that is in a news article of anonymous sources. And anonymous sources say a lot of things, but I've never said that at all.
Well, here's what you said on the record. I'm going to read your words. Quote, everything I've done at the direction of the president and Stephen.
Sir, where did you see me say that at? You read that in a news article with no sources affiliated to it.
You said it on the record on January 27th of 2026. Did I read your words accurate?
I enjoy working with the president and with Stephen Miller, and that day we were working to get as much information to the American people as possible. That is what we'll continue to do, and as that happens, we'll go forward.
Do you think it was fair to blame Mr. Miller?
Sir, I did not do that. You're reading from a newspaper article with anonymous sources.
Are you denying that you said that?
Sir, I'm not going to speak to that situation that is relayed on anonymous sources that no one has heard me say that.
It was you.
No. Who reported that to that newspaper?
They're quoting you on the record, saying it's Stephen's fault. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Uh-oh. But she was in more trouble than that. The whole $225 million that was spent. And did she really blame President Trump? Next, if you don't mind, cut 4.
How do you square that concern for waste, which I share, with the fact that you have spent $220 million running television advertisements that feature you prominently?
Sir, the president tasked me with getting the message out to the country and to other countries where we were seeing the invasion come from, with putting commercials out that told them that if they were in this country illegally, that they needed to leave, or we would detain them and remove them, and they'd not get the chance to come back to America the right way. That has been extremely effective.
Ask you to run these advertisements, is that right?
We had that conversation, yes, before I was put in this position and sworn in and confirmed, and since then as well.
Okay. Did you bid out those service contracts?
Yes, they did. They went out to a competitive bid, and career officials at the department chose who would do those advertising commercials.
And the people that you ended up picking were people who had formerly done your political work back in South Dakota. Is that right?
No, that's not correct, sir.
I think it is.
No, it's not, sir. The individuals who, I believe the careers who they chose were two different media firms. There's been conversation about their subcontractors, but we have no legal authority to look into subcontractors on work like that.
Okay. And you're saying that you're testifying that President Trump approved this ahead of time. Is that my understanding?
We had conversations about making sure that we were telling people.
No, ma'am. I'm asking you. Sorry,
trying to get out of it.
But the president approved ahead of time you spending $220 million running TV ads across the country in which you are featured prominently.
Yes, sir. We went through the legal processes, did it correct.
Did the president know you were going to do this?
Yes.
He did?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Wrong. That's why she's gone. All right? That and a million other things. And she deserved it. We'll be right back.
Greg Kelly on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
All right, enough of what I think. What do you think of what I think? Martin, hello.
Hello there, Greg. Hello, Greg. How you doing there?
Good.
Good. In today's New York Post, pictures of Kristi Noem on a horse having her makeup is touched up by somebody standing on the ground.
Right.
There's a picture of her with Corey Lewandowski next to her where he's doing antennas over her head like it's all funny, you know?
Yeah.
And since Trump gave her a new job, which I don't believe he needed to do that, but he did it anyway, I heard she came out and said that Trump lied when he said he didn't greenlight the $220 million.
All right, that part right there you didn't read in the newspaper. She did not allege that. She didn't allege that he lied. All right? She seems to say, look, she's gone. What do you want? She didn't really get a job. She's a special envoy for, like, water or something weird like that. She's a special envoy. It doesn't mean anything. So she's gone, all right? It's a good thing, Martin. I had it up to here with her. And those pictures are amazing. Smitty, hello. Is he there? Yes.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. What's up? Quick.
All right. So first of all, I preface this by saying that I listen to you every day and I love you, but there was a minutia detail I wanted to dispute with you about your opinion on something. The LGBTQ community don't even like the T's. They don't want them involved. They don't even want them in their acronym, let alone being compared to them.
No. I mean, look, I've seen that Dave Chappelle routine, and it's brilliant, right? But the leadership, and by the way, they may be, it's like internal griping, but the LGBTQ thing is the same thing. They're all on board. Human Rights Campaign is the thing that pushes this crap. And they raise money. They got gay marriage. They got gays in the military. Okay, what else do you want? And they had to find something else to complain about. So they complained about the trans. And then they worked on the adults. And then they came for the kids. All right, so it all stems together. And the LGBTQ, I know about the rivalry and the friction and all that stuff. But it's very much still a thing. All right? And that's how we open the door. So it all stinks.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network. March is Women's History Month, spotlighting trailblazing women across industries and eras, honoring contributions of women throughout history.
Today, we honor Margot Katzimatidis. Margot Katzimatidis is an American businesswoman, philanthropist, and civic leader known for her active involvement in charitable and political initiatives. She has supported numerous nonprofit organizations focused on healthcare, education, and community development. Her philanthropic work reflects a commitment to strengthening local communities and supporting families in need. In addition to her charitable efforts, she's been active in civic engagement and political fundraising, helping shape conversations around public policy democracy and community leadership. Katzimatidis represents the important role that private citizens and business leaders can play in public life. She has been a visible supporter of New York City's cultural institutions and frequently helps organize high-profile charity events that bring together business and political leaders.
Celebrating Women's History Month.
Damn, that's one accomplished woman. Isn't that, huh? Margot Katzimatidis, nay von der Sar. Wow. Margot, congratulations. Women's History Month. You really do make a difference. How are you? And congratulations.
Thank you very much. I'm not used to accolades.
Well, you deserve them.
I always like to work behind the scenes and do what God sends me to do and to try to help people and make a difference in their lives. And I've always done that.
Well, you've got a backup, you got a partner in all of this, John Katzimatidis.
Absolutely.
Standing by at the ready if we need him.
I'm only here as a backup.
Right.
Because Margot has been with me for 54 years, 55 years maybe, and she's always been there for me as a backup. So when she was doing this interview with you, Greg, she says, I want you to be there as a backup. She was there 54 years ago. She would pack up the groceries in one of our stores. She would make sure that the cashiers were doing anything out. She's been there for 54 years, and I love her, and I support her, and I'm there for her.
Wow.
So I'm here because she's always been here for me.
Well, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
So beautiful indeed. Well, I want to go into a couple of things here about your professional accomplishments, but first, von der Sar. I just found that out. That's your maiden name.
That's my stepfather's name, and he raised me.
How
I was about 9.
Prestigious. What is it? Swiss? What is that?
Dutch.
Dutch.
Dutch, yes.
Tell us a little bit about your stepdad.
John.
Pardon?
Talk about my dad.
Your dad?
Von der Sar dad.
Von der Sar, he was a very, very smart man. He lived in the Keys for many years. He did all the, he did a lot of, I guess he had his boats and he took people around. He was a guided tourist.
Yes.
And you know something? He loved Florida. And the first time I went to Florida is when they moved down to Florida in 1980. And he says to me, you have to invest in Naples. And then I didn't listen to him. And then he said, you have to invest in St. Pete. And if I would have listened to her father, whatever money I have now, I would have had 10 times more.
Well, hey, better late than never, because now you got all kinds of investments down there.
John has been so kind that he's erecting a statue of my parents in front of the tallest building on the west coast of Florida in St. Petersburg.
We built the tallest condominium on the west coast of all of Florida.
That's so.
And we're putting a statue of him and Margot's mom right at the front entrance of that iconic tower in St. Petersburg. So they'll be standing there waiting for everybody to come in for the next 100 years that tower is going to be up.
So beautiful. Wow. Remember when in-laws and son-in-laws were at mortal enemies, right? They're back in the 1950s. Now it's just all a beautiful family. All right, Margot, when you meet a young woman, say right out of high school, and let's say maybe she goes to college, maybe she doesn't go to college, what is your advice? What is your advice to young women as they enter either further schooling or academia, as they enter adulthood, I should say?
You have to always believe in yourself. You have to follow your dreams. If you're not quite clear, God gives you a message that you can take the road to the right, the road in the middle, or the road in the left. You have to use your own intuition to follow that road to see if that is meant for you. And at that stage, you're young enough to switch lanes if you want to. But always believe in yourself that you can accomplish anything and learn anything. So never be afraid.
I love the advice for anybody, whether they're young or old. By the way, were you the youngest person to be asked to join the Bolshoi?
Yes, I was
ballet?
Actually 11 and a half years old.
How does that work? Well, how did that happen?
It was pretty cool.
Well, the Bolshoi, those guys are from Russia. They're the best dancers in the world.
Yeah, it's the first time they came to America, and my sister and I were in the audition with 100 other kids, but they chose me and my sister, and I will never forget that performance. I was right in the very front because I was the smallest.
Yeah.
And I will never forget that evening. It was spectacular.
Wow. So. Wow. Mikhail Baryshnikov, was he on the scene yet? Was he around?
No,
he
wasn't there yet.
You're from Indiana originally?
Indianapolis, yes.
Indianapolis, Indiana. And you come to the big city and you're in the grocery store, right? Essentially?
Well,
what was the next move?
I was actually dancing and I got a scholarship. I got a contract for a Swiss ballet company, and I said, nope, this doesn't feel right. I'm not doing that because I had a bad knee. I already had 3 surgeries. So I came back, and then I had other health issues, and I had to get a job. And my father, Von der Sar, said, you need to learn something before you leave Indiana just in case you get hurt. So I learned how to type 90 words a minute because my mother could do 120. So, and she worked at a legal department in Bob's Merrill, which was a publishing company, and she was in the legal department. So she, really smart lady. But anyway, so I couldn't wait to come to New York. I wanted to come since I was 12, but I was too young. But I finally came, and I was injured, and I had to get a job, and there was this guy opening up a supermarket around the corner. I was taking care of my sister's son. And I went in, they said, the owner doesn't have a secretary. And I said, sure, I could do that. So I went to his office. It was the summer. I had a corduroy suit and a turtleneck sweater. I had no clothes. I was a dancer. What do you want from me? So I go in and I said, you're the most disorganized person I have ever seen. So I started organizing his office. He didn't even hire me yet. But anyway, and then he says, you got the job. So
it's wonderful. It's so wonderful. You and John are incredibly generous to various philanthropic causes, and in big ways and in small, and in ways that people can see, in ways that people can't see. I guess, look, you guys have been extraordinarily successful, and it's beautiful. What's the best part in being a giver? You guys give a lot. You give people jobs. You give people opportunity. You give people, quite frankly, a safety net. Certainly in the charity world, and you provide all kinds of things. What's the best part of being a philanthropist, I guess, is my question.
When you give a person who has lost all hope, you give them hope, and that you believe in them, and that they too can make a difference in their own lives to help other people. And that is the most gratifying, especially the children and the students. We've given millions of dollars in scholarships to students, and now I'm seeing their grandchildren. Oh, I feel so old. But anyway, I see their grandchildren now, and they said, thank you. Without your help, I would never be where I am today. I'm a lawyer. I'm a doctor. I'm this. I'm that. And because you believed in me. And that's what life is about. You have to believe in people to give them strength and courage to go on. Even if they don't have it themselves, you have to help them. So in my life, I always help the young, the very young, and the elderly, and I believe in that. And most people in the middle can help themselves, except the students. They need a lot of help.
That's wonderful. Your backup man has something to say.
He does?
I was going to say that one of the things that Margot works very hard at, and she's worked hard at it for over 30 years, is I've been on the board of the Police Athletic League for 40 years. Mr. Morgenthau hired me and trained me in 1984. And Margot has created the holiday party, the Christmas party that we do every year for the kids. And we have 27 centers. And you know something? I work very hard at it. Margot works very hard at it. My daughter Andrea worked very hard at it. And, I look at those kids and I say, I'm from Harlem. I made it. You can make it too. And your father, Ray Kelly, Commissioner Ray Kelly, would stand next to me, and we would look at 100 kids in that corner over there. And I would turn around to your dad and I would say to him, Ray, how many of those kids can we save? If there's 100 kids there, can we save 20? Can we save 30? Can we save 40? And I hope we could save all of them, but if we could save half of them, it's worth working hard.
Wow.
Absolutely.
There you are from Harlem. My dad, Upper West Side, his dad was a milkman. You know what I mean? Not exactly the silver spoon. But so going forward, what is by the way, you've met everybody. You've met everybody in the world. Let me ask you this. Some people are still intimidated to meet a titan or to meet a president or to meet Margot. You don't seem intimidated by anything or anyone. That's my sense. I mean, we all get nervous inside from time to time. You don't convey any of that. But does everybody have something in common? Have you gotten to the part where people are people? And it seems to me it doesn't matter whether it's the Secretary General of the UN or Carlos at the board right over there. You're the same person everywhere I've ever seen you. Is that a fair observation?
That is very fair. When I meet people, as long as they're nice and honest, I look for honesty. I don't look for arrogance. That's one thing I will turn around and walk away. But if you're a real person and you mean what you say, I have no problem with that. And I'm actually shy, believe it or not. But when people show their true humanity, I feel it.
It's beautiful.
So.
And you can't get anything past Margot. She's very in touch. Margot, going forward, you have a vision for the year? You can share it if not, but is there anything you want to take care of this year, perhaps that was left over from last year, or anything that's just nagging at you?
Oh, not nagging. I'm looking forward to taking care of my new grandson coming.
Yep. How was that, John Jr.? What a gift. What's the new boy or girl? Do we know?
Boy. It's a boy. Coming.
J4.
Due in May. J4.
Well,
due in May.
That's going to be wonderful. You got it all going on, Margot Catsimatidis, and our respect to Mr. Van der Sar up in heaven, and just an amazing story. I'm so glad you walked into that grocery store down the block 54 years ago.
Yeah.
I've seen John's office lately. It seems like it still needs a little bit of work.
No, they're trying.
Is there but there's a system.
Yeah, there is a system. They're trying.
Margot Catsimatidis, thank you. John Catsimatidis, the backup man, thank you both. And congratulations. Margot Catsimatidis is our woman of the millennium, but a special shout out on this March, Women's History Month. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Greg.
Be right back.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
So is it just my my Instagram, and I'm seeing all these dudes, these before and afters of dudes, right? Like, guys who are like 45 years old and dumpy with a big gut, and then like 5 months later they look like Superman. You see this stuff? It's about part of a trend. It's called looks maxing. Looks maxing. There's a guy named Clavicular. He's an influencer. He's like 21, and he's an ordinary looking guy, but he like maximized whatever the hell he had. He actually got cosmetic surgery. Now he looks like some sort of thing out of a museum. You know what I mean? One of those Greek statues. It's a little bit ridiculous. It's part of a thing. And now people of all ages are doing it. It's called looks maxing. Should I get into that? You want me to do that? I'll do it for you, Carlos, if you think I should do it. No? You don't want me to do it? All right, I won't do it. It looks like a pain anyway. All that nutrition, all that. Oh, who knows? And you got to take these crazy potions. One guy says, crush garlic and eat it raw. It's good for your gut health. They started talking about gut health not too long ago. Not exactly sure what gut health. Stephanie Minter. I'm going to make a video. I'm going to try to make this situation famous. Killed by an illegal alien in Virginia. It's just so interesting. What captures the public's attention and what just fades away. George Floyd had enough drugs in him to kill 10 Clydesdale horses. You know those Klondike horses with the great big hooves? 10 of those things with all the drugs that was in George Floyd. He wasn't murdered by that cop. Speaking of which, how is that cop doing? Derek Chauvin is unjustly in prison right now. Derek Chauvin should not be in jail. And I don't know if there's a way to get him out. It's a state situation, so he can't get paroled, but I'm telling you, that man is flat out innocent. And his trial was a sham. People were lying out loud in the middle of it. All right, we got to get the hell out of here. 800-848-9222. 800-848-9222. Joe in New Jersey is on the phone. Hello.
Hello, Greg. I know you're trying to get into religion a little bit. Please try to look into this if you can. Herman Laredo, priest, tells a story about Donald Trump. You have to listen to it.
No, I don't think I'm going to listen to that. I'm sorry, man. You tell me I'm into religion. I don't know. I mean, what I got too much. There are too many things in the Bible I haven't read. Why would I read this about a priest? Isn't that? It's a little bit. Tell me give me the gist of the story.
Says he was a young man. He was going to go to Italy. The guy says, "You're going to go to Italy. I want you to go visit this man." He visits this man at the House of Loreto. You know what the House of Loreto is? Where Jesus and Mary and Joseph were born. He says, "I'm going to go there." He says, "I want you to do me a favor. I want you to go talk to this guy." He talks to this guy, and this guy says, in let's say 1980, he said, "I had a premonition. I know who's going to be president." He said, "Who?" He says, "Donald Trump." He said, "The Playboy?" He says, "Yeah." And at that year, the doors were open to Rome to put bricks in it. They're open.
How
for
do
a
we
year.
know this is true?
This is true. This is true.
Who said it? Who said this?
This a doctor told the priest going to Italy at that time, let's say 1980, I forget the year, and he says, when you go there, says, I want you to do me a favor and speak to this guy, and this guy has a great vision. He says, I had a premonition who's going to be president.
But don't say premonition, because premonition means something bad. I got a premonition there's going to be an earthquake tomorrow, right? You don't have go ahead.
All right, so the doors were open to Rome for a year. And he says, when you go to Rome, put a brick in there with the name Trump. And he did. And now the story's coming out. The guy who told him to go there was a doctor. And the doctor, this story's been confirmed by a few people.
How do you know? Where's this brick?
This brick was in Rome at that time.
I know, but look, it's unverifiable, all right? People tell all kinds of stories. It's all unverifiable. The doctor on his way to Italy told a priest about a brick. I can't figure that out.
You can. If you're looking into religion, this is important.
And this doesn't sound like religion to me. This sounds a little bit like hocus pocus.
No, it ain't.
Well, really, I don't know, man. It's not in the gospel or whatever. What's this called again? Trump and Mount Laredo?
Yes.
Huh?
Herman Laredo.
Herman Laredo?
Milereto.
Okay, I got it. I will look at it. Thank you. Let's see here. Jim, hello.
Hello, Greg. It's Jim from the Bronx. Listen, this goes back a long, long time. It was either in Look or Life magazine. That'll show you how long ago it was. They did an interview with Jesse Jackson, and he bragged about how he would spit in the soup spit in the soup that was being served to white people. How he would spit in the chopped meat used to make hamburgers that were being served to white people. Find it. It's either in Look.
I believe it. He is a con man, and I can't believe it. Here's confirmation. CNN is taking his funeral live. Right? It's a big indicator that there's something wrong with the guy. Naz, real quick, last one. Naz, hello.
Greg, how are you? I just have a gift for your daughter, Annalise.
What?
It's an alphabet I created. I turned her name into an art form. For example, the first letter is the Eiffel Tower. The second letter, N, is a cat. And then the third letter, A, is a snail. And then it's a beautiful thing. You should see it. I need the address to send it to you.
All right, send it to the radio station. WABC 880, care of Greg Kelly, 800 3rd Avenue, New York, 100. Look, I don't even know my own zip code, but you're going to have to look it up, all right? All right. I appreciate it, pal. Thank you very much. Very nice. Very thoughtful.
Thanks for listening to The Greg Kelly Show. You can hear The Greg Kelly Show weekdays at 12:15 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder,
what the heck is going on here? This is Greg Kelly. Donate now to Toys for Tots, which works year-round. Go to toysfortots.org. Toys for Tots supports children in need throughout the year with programs like the Toys for Tots Literacy Program. Established in 2008, it has provided over 63 million books to disadvantaged children. The Toys for Tots Literacy Program is committed to providing disadvantaged children with direct access to books and educational resources that enhance their ability to read and communicate effectively. Go to toysfortots.org.